the door, dude. I'm not opening. You kidding me? Get out. Go with them.
State lawmaker calls on Sheriff Susan Hudson to step down after the jailbreak. Andres Fuentes reports the Attorney General would rather Hudson work through the investigation into this escape.
Fast forward to 2019. He escaped from Morehouse Detention Center just outside of Monroe. He was caught the same day, but in Texas.
Lil Wayne might want to keep his phone close because this situation is getting real messy. Word on the streets is he's tied to one of the New Orleans prison escapees, and not just any dude. We're talking about Antoine Massey. Yeah, the same guy who broke out and couldn't resist flexing on the cops the moment he touched fresh air. Now, here's where it gets juicy. Wayne's connection isn't direct, but it runs through some serious OG ties. We're talking about Wayne's late father, Rabbit, and Antoine's pops, Big Twine. Back in the day, they were real tight, moving through the same scene in NOLA. Word is they ran in the same circles. And when the streets talk, the feds tend to listen, even if it's just a whisper. So, while it might sound like a stretch, that little thread is enough for investigators to start raising eyebrows, especially since Antoine's still out there, slipping through every trap the law tries to set. With his name all over the news and the feds looking desperate, some are saying they might try bringing Wayne in for questioning. Not as a suspect, at least not yet, but definitely to squeeze any info they think he might have. Right now, there are no charges against Lil Wayne. He hasn't been officially named in the case either. But that hasn't stopped his name from echoing online or being whispered in corners all across New Orleans. And honestly, with Antoine Massey being more than just a random runaway, given who his dad was and how deep the family ties run, folks think this could be the start of something big for the feds. Here's where it gets even more personal.
I'm about to hit this. So you've been gone? I've been gone for 14 summers, man. You hear me? But I ain't swum since 2003.
Lil Wayne wasn't just cool with his pops, Rabbit. He idolized him. Wayne's talked time and time again about how Rabbit shaped his whole life. He called him the reason he ever picked up a mic, the foundation of everything he became. So if Rabbit and Antoine Massey's father, Big Twine, were really that close, like tight enough to be family, that opens up a whole new layer of questions. Just how far did those old school bonds stretch? And did any of that street loyalty pass down to the next generation? Now look, let's not get it twisted. Wayne and Antoine aren't known to be hanging out or anything like that. There's no flicks, no tags, no cryptic posts linking them. It's clean on the surface. But in a city like New Orleans, where family names carry heavy weight and everybody's somebody's cousin, the past has a sneaky way of crawling into the present. So when Antoine busted out a lockup and started clowning the cops online, you already know the feds were gonna start flipping through old ties. And when law enforcement starts looking at connections, Wayne's name can't help but float up. Why? Because his record ain't exactly spotless. We're talking about that gun charge, the drug bust, and that whole Rikers Island stint back in 2010.
My pop, Reginald McDonald, the day he passed in 96, Stunner picked me up that same day. I got in the car, I had a little look on my face. He said his exact words was, "Look like you just lost your father."
He's been clean for a minute now, but once your name's in the system, it doesn't take much for folks to start whispering again. Let's keep it real. Wayne's past, with law enforcement, runs deep enough that the feds giving him a call wouldn't be all that shocking. Doesn't mean he's guilty of anything, but this ain't the first time they've poked around a big name just to see what might shake loose, especially when that name is tied to street history and family trees that trace right back to where all this chaos started. We're talking about a combo that always raises eyebrows, deep NOLA roots, a criminal record that made headlines, and one of the biggest profiles in the game. It's enough for Wayne to stay in the mix of the conversation, whether he likes it or not. The streets remember, and the feds definitely do too. So even if he's not on the radar officially, he's hovering close enough for folks to start watching. But let's shift gears for a second, because Antoine Massey's story, it's straight up unbelievable.
Show a dislodged toilet inside one of the cells and the words "too easy" scribbled above, pointing to a hole where the inmates are believed to have escaped.
This man isn't just on the run. He's practically daring them to catch him. He's got chess pieces tatted right on his face and forehead. Like, seriously, how do you even hide with ink like that? And still, even with that bold branding and the chaos that went down when 10 inmates broke out of a New Orleans jail on May 16th, Antoine's managed to stay invisible. Almost 2 full weeks have passed, and only 2 of the escapees are still slipping through the cracks, Antoine Massey and Derek Groves. And let's be clear, these ain't small-time offenders. Both of them were facing second-degree murder charges before vanishing into thin air. With 2 men like that still out there, law enforcement is on edge, and the pressure is building fast. Derek Groves has a reputation that speaks for itself. He's deep in murder and manslaughter cases, no stranger to violence. But Massey? That man's on another level entirely. Folks in Louisiana are seriously calling him Houdini. He's been vanishing from lockups like it's just part of his weekly routine. Breaking out ain't a one-time stunt for him. It's a whole lifestyle. Matt Dennis, who runs the ankle monitor program in New Orleans, had some wild words to say. He said Massey once got fitted with a monitor and didn't even try to be slick about it. He sliced it clean off just a few hours later and bounced. Just like that, and it wasn't his first time.
There is no way people can get out of this facility without there being some type of lapse in security. There's no way. It's almost impossible, not completely, but almost impossible for anybody to get out of this facility without help from the outside.
This guy's pulled off this kind of escape 5 times. Count them, 5. It all started back in juvenile. Then, in 2019, he took things to a whole new level. He busted out of Morehouse Parish Jail with another inmate. And get this, they jumped straight into a rental car, waiting outside like it was some kind of movie. Who plans a jail escape like that? It's like dude had Uber for fugitives. Now, let's talk about Antoine Massey's latest jaw-dropping move. Because this wasn't some last-minute break for freedom. Nah, authorities are saying he planned the whole thing down to the detail. Word is, Massey had every angle covered. Cash ready, hotel set, food stocked up, and he even had a cash app hustle running inside the jail. Can you believe that? Dude was running a low-key criminal operation from behind bars like it was his own personal HQ, and it gets even crazier. One of the jail workers, Sterling Williams, straight up claims Massey threatened to shank him if he didn't play along. Surveillance footage doesn't lie either. It shows Williams in conversation with Massey, Groves, and another inmate just moments before they made their slick getaway. And this wasn't no kick the door down escape. Nah, they ripped an entire toilet off the wall and slid through a hidden tunnel behind it like something out of a Prison Break movie. Wild. But don't get it twisted, Massey ain't famous just for escaping. His rap sheet, straight up brutal.
Up at the barn, and I heard a lot of polices.
Armed robbery, gun charges, fleeing from cops. He's been stacking felonies like trading cards. And right now he's wanted for even heavier stuff. Domestic abuse, car theft, plus a rape and kidnapping case out in St. Tammany Parish. That domestic charge, it's disturbing. Back in November 2024, he went completely off the rails on his girlfriend. She barely got away, had to run down someone for help. A few days later, guess where they found Massey? Chilling in Texas, laid up in a stolen Mercedes that he allegedly swiped from a party back in New Orleans. Out of the 10 men that broke out, 8 are already back behind bars. Most of them are locked up tight at Angola with no bail in sight. Massey and Groves are still out there, and it's way bigger than just 2 guys on the run. Over a dozen people have already been arrested for helping them break out or hide.
With Assured Supervision Accountability Program, or ASAP, an electronic monitoring company, says Massey was a red flag from the start.
So let's be real, this ain't some sloppy jailhouse, oops, we slipped moment. Nah, this was a straight-up operation. It's calculated, it's dirty, and it's spiraling deeper by the day. Antoine Massey is out here playing a risky, high-stakes game. And the feds, oh, they're done playing checkers. This is chess now, but here's where things take a turn into pure madness. Let's break down how this whole escape even happened. First off, that jail, practically falling apart. The locks were trash, and Massey literally spent 20 minutes just messing with a busted sliding door before waltzing into another cell. That's when he and the crew ripped a sink and toilet combo clean off the wall. No joke. Behind it was a utility tunnel blocked by steel bars. And how did they cut through? Electric hair clippers. That's it. No power tools, no movie-level gear, just clippers. Sterling Williams, the maintenance guy, shut off the water so it wouldn't flood, then dipped. He later claimed an inmate threatened to stab him if he didn't cooperate. Meanwhile, security was a total joke. The pod guard slid out to grab food. The camera monitor straight up missing in action. With no one watching, the inmates made their move. Snuck through the loading dock, scaled the wall, tossed towels over the barbed wire like it was nothing, and sprinted across I-10 like they were scoring a touchdown. And get this, before they bounced, Some of these dudes bolted the toilet back onto the wall to cover up the tunnel. 7 whole hours passed before a head count finally exposed the breakout. By the time anyone realized what went down, most of the escape crew had already dipped in different directions, but the manhunt came down fast and heavy. Within days, authorities scooped up nearly the whole squad.
Mr. Williams is absolutely innocent that he was used as a tool by the escapees and is being used as a fall guy by Sheriff Hudson.
Lenton Van Buren Jr., Leo Tate Sr., Dick Keenan, Dennis, Gary Price, Robert Moody, Kendall Miles, Corey Boyd, and Jermaine Donald. One by one, they got snatched and dragged right back into custody. Now all of them are sitting tight at Angola, no bail, no breaks, just concrete and regret. You can bet they're wishing those towels they tossed over the barbed wire turned into parachutes. But the damage wasn't just for the escapees. Sterling Williams, the maintenance guy who played a key role, is now facing 10 counts of principal to simple escape, plus malfeasance in office. Yeah, they're stacking charges on him like Legos. 3 other jail employees got suspended without pay, and at least 1 more staffer has already been booked for playing dirty behind the scenes. Even one inmate who stayed behind couldn't keep his hands clean. He's facing fresh charges for helping set the whole thing up. And it wasn't just inside help either. Cops scooped up 5 friends and family members who were out here hiding the escapees. 2 women got hit with accessory charges after the fact, and 4 people connected to Van Buren thought they were slick running a weekend house hideout spot. Bad move. Authorities say it loud and clear, more people had to be involved. Let's be real, nobody slices through steel bars with clippers, shuts off the water, slips out through a dock, and sprints across a highway without some serious inside assistance. It all went down fast. 8 of the escapees are already back in jumpsuits, while 2, Massey and Groves, are still out there dodging the law.
Mr. Williams is absolutely innocent that he was used as a tool by the escapees and is being used as a fall guy by Sheriff Hudson.
And everyone who so much as passed a message is now trading in their selfies for mugshots. At this point, anyone even remotely tied to this disaster got something to say. Politicians, law enforcement, the whole city's got eyes locked in. So who's really feeling the heat for letting this whole thing blow up? Let's break it down. First up, Sheriff Susan Hudson. She's at the center of the firestorm since she runs the Orleans Parish Jail. And to her credit, she owned it. She said, flat out, this one's on me. Her words, she admitted the locks were trash, the place is understaffed, and they don't even have enough resources to keep things running smooth. But then she took it a step further, saying this wasn't just about faulty locks and low manpower. She hinted hard that someone on the inside had to be involved. Doors don't just magically open. Somebody either opened them or looked the other way while it all went down. And District Attorney Jason Williams, he's not sugarcoating a thing. He came out and said what everybody was already thinking. 10 dangerous men don't break out, scale fences, and vanish into the night without serious help. Now the DA's office is going full throttle. They're digging deep into everybody. Guards, clerks, contractors, anyone who might have greased the wheels or looked the other way. No one's off limits. And when the sheriff's crew didn't even request a forensic sweep of the escape route, the DA stepped in personally and ordered one. That move right there turned the heat way up. Now the political pressure is boiling over. Governor Jeff Landry dropped an executive order bringing in state police, inspectors, and a top-to-bottom review of the entire Orleans Parish Jail. This is the first time in over a decade the city council is stepping in this heavy, grilling the sheriff and asking the tough question, was this whole thing caused by low funding or just straight-up mismanagement? And the people? They're mad. Voters, victims' families, and locals across the board are calling for accountability. They want heads to roll. Real consequences. The Attorney General isn't holding back either. He said, anyone who helped, badge or no badge, city job or not, is getting charged, period. And we can't skip over one of the biggest names in this whole mess, Sterling Williams, the jail's own plumber's maintenance man.
Are in the middle of a crisis. And crises can be a little bit chaotic. And everybody responds to crises in a different way.
Cops say he turned off the water so the inmates could rip out the toilet and slip into that hidden tunnel. That move alone has him facing 10 counts of simple escape plus malfeasance in office. But his lawyer's pushing back hard, saying Sterling was threatened, didn't know the full plan, and is just being used as a scapegoat to distract from the jail's deeper broken system. Some folks out here are saying Sterling Williams might have just been a pawn, a scared worker caught in the crossfire while the real masterminds sit comfortably behind broken policies and empty guard posts. Either way, it's getting ugly. From the top brass all the way down to the rank and file staff, everybody is under that magnifying glass right now. Whether this was just a perfect storm of busted locks, staff shortages, and one terrified plumber, or if we're dealing with a full-on network of inside help, nobody in that chain of command is sleeping easy these days. But hold up, even the DA is getting side-eyed. District Attorney Jason Williams got blindsided by the governor's public jabs, and it did not sit right with him. Governor Jeff Landry basically hinted that the DA's office was dragging its feet, like they weren't filing charges fast enough or acting quickly enough on the whole escape disaster. And Williams, he wasn't letting that slide. He clapped back, saying he's tired of being blamed in the middle of a real crisis, especially when there's still dangerous fugitives out there running wild. He stressed that everyone handles emergencies differently. Some step up and others just stir up more noise. He said he's trying to solve the problem, not get sucked into political games. And when folks asked why his office hasn't slammed more charges down yet, Williams kept it blunt. He said it's all about evidence. Without hard proof, they can't just start charging people left and right. Jason Williams didn't just talk the talk, he laid it all out. He said the sheriff's office straight up didn't give his team the evidence they needed to even start building cases. We're talking surveillance footage, body cam videos, contraband reports, and even basic incident paperwork. None of it was handed over. And without that, the DA's office is legally and ethically stuck. If they try to move forward without solid proof, judges will toss the cases and juries won't convict. It's not just slow, it's a straight-up risk to the entire case. Williams even pulled out receipts, gave a full breakdown on each escapee and the charges tied to them. He showed which cases were accepted, which ones stalled, and which got tossed. And in most of the dropped ones, the reason was the same across the board. No reports, no evidence, nothing to stand on. One dude had even already pleaded guilty before, but the state never came to pick him up. So he stayed in local custody and ended up becoming one of the escapees. Wild. The DA made it crystal clear. This isn't some new glitch in the system. He said this lack of cooperation from the sheriff's office has been going on for a while. He's written letters, sent warnings, flagged issue after issue, and nobody took it seriously. He even had to bring charges against a deputy once for allegedly hiding makeshift weapons after a jailhouse brawl. From Williams' point of view, this jailbreak didn't happen in a vacuum. It's not just a one-time mess-up, it's the result of a long broken pattern. And here's the real kicker. DA Jason Williams said the governor could have just picked up the phone. He claimed his line was open all weekend and he was deep in the trenches with his forensics team trying to sort out the chaos. But instead of making a simple call to get on the same page, the governor went public, throwing shade and adding fuel to an already blazing mess. And now, the fallout's already started crashing down. Let's talk numbers, because this escape wasn't just a few dudes sneaking out the back. At this point, more accomplices have been arrested than escapees are even left on the run. Over a dozen people have already been cuffed for helping. Jail employees, friends, and even family members. That's not a coincidence. That's a network, a whole operation working behind the scenes. And the disrespect off the charts. The escapees had the nerve to tag the bathroom wall with graffiti that said, "Too easy, LOL." Yeah, they mocked the jail on the way out. Can you imagine being that bold? And the wildest part, the cameras actually caught everything, but the jail was so understaffed, nobody was even watching the surveillance in real time. The escape played out on screen like a live-action movie, and no one was there to hit pause. But now, here's where it gets downright ugly. This jail wasn't some rundown shack. It was supposed to be a state-of-the-art facility built to fix the mess from the old lockup. It cost the city a jaw-dropping $150 million to build. And after all that money, after all those promises, look where we are now. This jail's problems didn't start last week. They've been running on repeat for years. Same issues over and over. Short-staffed, undertrained, and crumbling from the inside. Watchdogs and federal monitors have been raising red flags for a long time now. They even warned that escapes were becoming more frequent, but every time something went wrong, the jail hit copy-paste on the excuse, "We don't have enough staff." At this point, it's not just a pattern, it's a full-blown cycle of failure. And the political drama, it's only getting hotter by the day. Let's talk big picture. The jail is under a federal consent decree, which basically means the government had to step in and force it to clean up after serious past civil rights violations. Some local politicians were even trying to get that decree lifted. Not anymore. This breakout shut that conversation all the way down. That door is closed now, locked and barred. At first, Sheriff Susan Hudson tried to dodge the heat, said critics were just getting political, but when the whole thing blew up in her face, she had to switch gears. Now she's taking the blame publicly and asking for more funding to fix what's broken, but critics aren't letting it slide so easy. They're asking why this place got $150 million and still ended up falling apart. Meanwhile, let's not forget, Antoine Massey and Derek Groves are still out there, and officials are turning up the heat. The state's now offering $20,000 rewards for each of them. That's how serious it is. And law enforcement's message is loud and clear. If you're caught hiding these guys or helping them in any way, you're going down with them. You're going down with them. But here's the real gag. This jailbreak didn't just shake up jail leadership. It's got the entire city talking. The public is fed up. Folks already had zero faith in the New Orleans justice system, and now trust is hanging on by a thread. Former inmates, advocates, and watchdogs are speaking out, calling the conditions in that jail inhumane. And they're not just venting. They're exposing years of warnings that went ignored. Let's call it what it is. This wild escape is just a symptom, not the actual disease. Yeah, a few people messed up big time. Yeah, someone inside definitely helped. But the deeper problem, it's the system itself. Broken locks, the ghost staff, the long history of neglect. And now all of it is spilling out into the open where everyone can see the mess that's been building for years. So now the spotlight's on, and the real question is, will anything actually change? Or are we going to be back in this same exact mess the next time another headline hits? Is this just the tip of the iceberg? Or are we looking at the whole damn glacier? And where does Lil Wayne fit into all this? Was it just old family ties? Or is his name about to get pulled deeper into this chaos? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And trust, you're going to want to stick around to see what else is popping off in our hood.